To say that there are a lot of open world survival crafting games on Steam would be one of the most dramatic understatements in the history of everything. There are 500 million of them. So to stand out in such an oversaturated genre is not an easy thing to do. However, one that has been managing that recently is Enshrouded. It's a game that I've heard the name of before, and I guess it just got a big update, so Steam's been pushing it. So why not? I thought to myself. It's not like I have the capacity for disappointment anymore. So I went in with relatively low expectations, and honestly, wow, this game is kind of dope. It lands in the category of games like Valheim and V Rising, which are the survival crafting games that actually have both interesting ideas and the technical ability to pull it off reasonably well. I should forewarn, this game is in early access. As you can tell, there are clearly some missing features, and the performance at times is quite horrible. But it actually does do a lot of cool things. And this is where I usually talk about the story in a game. Lol lamau. The story is that there is fog, and the fog is bad. There's one cutscene right at the start that basically explains the world was cool, and then some dude gave the king some heroin, and then the king wanted more, so they started mining it. And then some fog came out of those mines, and again, the fog is bad. You may think I'm exaggerating the brevity of this for comedic effect, and like a little bit, but yeah, it's not great. You play as a Flameborn, which is like a person, but you're grown in a magic tube, I think, instead of being born. And now you have to stop the fog and save the day. Now there is more lore within the game, but it's all in notes and journals scattered around the world, and I just did not care enough to read any of them. If this stuff is important, then the presentation needs work. And if it's not important, then stop highlighting them and making me think it's loot, thanks. So this is your standard open world crafting affair. Punch trees, make pickaxe, use pickaxe on rock, etc, etc. With a couple notable differences. Firstly, there is no hunger meter, and thank God, I hate hunger meters. I know it's supposed to be immersive or whatever, but all it does is add an annoying ticking clock to everything, and limit how much you can explore in your exploring game before you have to go home and make a sandwich. So, good riddance. Rather, food in this game gives you buffs, and the buffs are vary depending on what kind of food you eat. Eat a steak, it increases the size of your health bar. Eat some blueberries, that will make your health regen. This is very cool. Eating is a bonus, not something that punishes you if you don't do it. I like it. Next up, glider. Bam. Is it a gimmick? Sure. Did it copy this from Breath of the Wild? Maybe. Do I care? Absolutely not. Any game that gives me a glider is doing something right in my book. It is fun. And the map in this game has a ton of verticality, so it's actually quite practical for getting around. Sometimes. Going downhill, this is great. Going uphill, less so. Hope you're ready for a 10-minute hike back up that mountain you just excitedly jumped off of. Now, there is a grappling hook, which was very exciting to me when I heard about it, and it sounds like it would be the obvious solution here. But the grappling hook is tragically underutilized. You can only hook to specific spots, which are far and few between, and the range is also pretty short. Very disappointing. Me want big grappling hook, zoom zoom. This is where I should also mention that the map in this game is enormous, oh my god. And it is an actual handcrafted map as well, it's not procedurally generated, if you were wondering. And on that map, there is so much to do, holy crap. So there are your standard open world, big puzzle towers that double as fast travel points, and elixir wells, which are basically your clearing enemy encampment affair. And so now you may be thinking, oh, so it's just a boring Ubisoft checklist, but no. While those basically progress the story, there are so many caves and towns and areas that don't have any sort of map marker, They don't have plot relevance, but they do have fat loot. Unlike Assassin's Creed, where every single chest and resource is put on the map for you, this game actually rewards exploration. And frankly, you'll need to. Much like Valheim, you need a lot of resources to make stuff. Houses, a new crafting station things, leveling up your base, new weapons and armor. You might even get extra lucky and find a subscribe button. The building system is also very reminiscent of Valheim, but it has even more options and materials. This is my house. It's, it's not the best, and it kind of does look like a Valheim house, but I like it, alright? Smarter people than me, though, have been able to create some really cool stuff. You may have noticed that in my house, there are several beds, not just mine. NPCs. One of the things scattered around the map are NPCs who you can rescue and bring back to your house. Or rather town, because you'll probably have to build one, because there are actually quite a lot of them. This is one of my favorite things about the game. Rescuing more people and gradually building up a whole little settlement. And you can also set wander ranges on them, which is a pretty cool feature, so you can make the important ones sit still while the rest walk around. Some of these NPCs are very important, like the blacksmith and the hunter, who let you craft and build various important items. And really, the only thing I don't like about this, or I guess I wish they would add, is I would like it if the NPCs would, interact with each other, Have little conversations, or even wave at each other, or whatever. I think that would be really cool. It would make your town feel more, alive, but early access. Something they might actually just add in the future. And honestly, for now, I'd rather they just, focus on the big stuff. It's not that big of a deal. As for the combat, well, it plays like an early access survival crafting game. It's very stiff and janky. Every enemy seems to have exactly 2 attacks or chains that they just go back and forth between. You do have the option of melee, range, or magic, and honestly, why you'd ever use anything besides bow is beyond me. Arrows are super easy to make, and there's all different varieties of them. They do a lot of damage, and with especially the melee combat being as janky as it is, why even bother? There are some neat boss fights though, but they're pretty easily exploitable. Wait, I don't want to end this on a low note, so So that's Enshrouded. It's pretty cool. Give it a look. But again, early access and all of the associated issues with that. If you've played the game, let me know what you thought about it. And please tickle that cute little subscribe button down there. That does it for me. I will be posting more videos soon. Goodbye.